she's awfully good. I mean, she's very bright. I mean, she's actually sailing through the MBA course, despite the fact that she's not, I mean, in her head, she's just there as a spy, and this is her cover.
Yeah.
But she's doing really well, and she actually has a lot of aptitude, maybe even more than her mother in a lot of ways.
Yeah. Well, you have to look at her parents. And also you look at the writer who was behind this, and
Oh,
I'd like to say I wasn't. Yeah, I wouldn't say I was quite the Jen. No, it's her parents. You know, she comes from a family where, and I think you absorb things by osmosis as well. So you know, she would have listened to her father talking. Both her parents, in fact, were, you know, first of all, her father was leading a huge corporation, then her mother set up her own business. So I think just by being around these people, she's absorbed a huge amount, and in many ways, she's been resisting this, you know, her natural inclination is to be great in business, but she's so determined to do the opposite. You know, she'd rather kind of camp out by the side of the road than admit that maybe she'd be able to run a business.
George, her father, hasn't been around for a while because the parents split up, and Harriet, the mother, blamed George, and Jen just didn't see him since he was, what, 13?
Yeah, that's right. I think this is actually a big influence on Jen's character. You know, she has, all she knows of her father is that I think she used to absolutely adore him. And often, you know, a lot of my friends who are mothers say, you know, daughters just adore their fathers, even though, you know, they may be away all the time. They're the guy they'd go off and play golf all day on Saturday, but when they get home, it's daddy, you know, can't wait to get his attention. And for that to be just taken away so brutally, I think has been a big influence on the character. And so you get this really interesting thing where she's going back into the world of business, which she hates. She again, this black and white idea, you know, business is bad. And her father represents business and is also bad, but on many different levels, you know. So she's not just, she's fighting the good fight, as she thinks, you know, to kind of find out the bad guy and, you know, let good triumph. But she's also almost trying to get, well, either trying to get the attention of her father back, you know, by showing him up to be the bad guy. She can then feel okay again that he left, because it's a good thing, because he was never a good person. And as the book develops, obviously, you know, things change, and she realizes again that things aren't quite as black and white as she thought they were.
Funny book too. I mean, and a fun, fast read. I mean, it doesn't feel totally like froth because you're getting stuff about business in it, which is, you know, which is neat. But a very clean, fast read.
I like that. I mean, I often think, you know, at the end of a chapter, what is it that's going to make someone want to turn the page? I believe very strongly in plot, you know, in story. I think there are a lot of books.
Thank you. No.
You like plot?
There's somebody who don't.
Well, Jairus, exactly. I think this is, and there are films as well where you go and you just think, what happened in that? And sometimes it works. If something is absolutely beautiful, I mean, some of the films of Jim Jarmusch, you know, he gets away with it, with a kind of meandering story that you gently, but it doesn't always work, and you've got to be brilliant, I think. Otherwise, you just, as plot just takes you through it, you want to be on the edge of your chair slightly, you want to not know exactly what's going to happen, and I mean, I like to think this is a kind of, it's a romantic whodunit, in a way, you know, it is a romantic story, but it's like a kind of mini little thriller. You know, you don't know who the good guys are, you don't know who the bad guys are, and you know, I think if you're going to write a book like this, it's important to make people laugh. You know, you want people to have fun, you want people to think a little bit, hopefully, but I also want people to enjoy, you know, the time if they're going to spend the money and buy the book, I want to feel like they've kind of got something out of it and enjoyed the process.
You're okay about putting a happy ending?
You know, I am a huge optimist. I actually believe in happy endings. You know, I am one of these terrible people who, I mean, good things don't happen all the time, but I really strongly believe when bad things happen, you know, and plenty of bad things have happened to me, but I always find that in the fullness of time, you're really pleased, you know, that you didn't get that great job, or that, you know, that guy you were madly in love with ditched you and you know, went off with your best friend. Because it's, well, then 2 years later, you met the person that you fell madly in love with and ended up marrying, so, phew, so pleased about that, you know. So, yeah, no, I think happy endings, I think you need to have, you can't have happiness all the way through. You need to explore some sort of dark elements. But I think at the end of the day, you want to feel that, you know, good triumphs over evil most of the time.
The book is Learning Curves, a novel of sex, suits, and business affairs. I've been speaking with the author, Gemma Townley, and Learning Curves, published by Ballantine.